I think the most significant takeaway from his visit, obviously, is the intent of the United States to send a message to Asia, to the world, and to China as well, of course, that although the U.S. is busy trying to handle the crisis in Ukraine, other issues, that it is still very much engaged and focused on the challenges that the U.S. would face in Asia.
And how do you view Biden's comments on defending Taiwan?
Has always been essentially to maintain peace and stability in the region. And so, as China or other countries begin to act in a way that endangers the peace and stability, the U.S. responds. And in that sense, I think what Biden said in Tokyo regarding Taiwan simply responds to the aggressiveness, increasing aggressiveness of China, and is trying to is an effort to try to deter and discourage China from continuing to do so. So I don't think it's a mishap. Of course, if it's a mishap, it's been done three times by the president. But no, I don't think it's a mishap, and I don't think it's a change in policy.
And there were some saying that Biden's comments almost overshadowed a more glaring point, and that's Taiwan's absence from the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. How significant is Taiwan's absence from this quite significant economic agreement?
A lot of people have noticed, and certainly Taiwan has noticed, the fact that it's not on the list of those 12 partner countries. And so symbolically, I think it's quite important. But I don't see that as being very significant because, as Sullivan said, we will then work bilaterally with Taiwan to make sure that you might say, cover the issues that are going to be covered perhaps in the framework. And that we're going to maybe eventually, this is an initial list, that maybe later on, after we start initiatives within this particular program, other countries, other economies can join once the actual concrete initiatives are made.
What do you think the central ways in which the war in Ukraine has changed the geopolitical landscape in Asia? And could you elaborate on the ways in which you think those changes were manifested in Biden's trip to Asia?
What happened in Ukraine and Russia is probably the result of perhaps not having done things earlier to discourage Russia from doing so. So I think the lesson for the U.S. and what Biden is doing in Asia is precisely that. The statement about Taiwan, defending Taiwan, and meeting with the Quad, in Tokyo, the statement they issued, all of that, I think, you might say, benefits from the lessons that we learned in Ukraine, which is that you need to be firmer up front rather than wait until there's an invasion before you act, because what you do now will affect what happens later on in terms of future developments. So I think that's the key lesson. And